Last week, the president announced a Justice Department investigation into possible fraud in terms of the oil markets. Past administrations have done the same thing and never found a thing. What do you believe this administration can do?
Well, I think it's just a recognition that we're being whipsawed by oil prices, that the administration feels the personal pain of every American as the price of gasoline goes up at the pump. And if there is a possibility that there is speculation, there is manipulation in the prices, we certainly want to find out about it and make sure it doesn't happen.
Do you believe there is?
Well, I can't really say, and so let's just say we will be supporting the Department of Justice. The EIA, the Energy Information Administration, does have a lot of statistics on these things, and so we stand ready in that role to help the Justice Department.
Do you think that the current pain we're seeing at the pump could possibly lead to new legislation?
Well, I think in the end, and this is where the president has been very forceful, this is not the first or the second or even the third of oil shocks. And if you look in the long term about what's going to be happening, because of the rise of prosperity in the developing world especially, that we see a higher demand on the price of oil. And we also see that you're going to more exotic forms of oil, more unconventional oil, in many cases harder and more expensive to extract oil. So while the price may go up and down in the near term, I think the long-term trend will say that we have to, as Americans, as a country, begin to diversify our transportation supply and to use oil in as efficient a way as possible.
Does the president's decision to restore offshore drilling leave you comfortable?
Yes, I think the president has, in the past several months after Macondo spill, been allowing leases to go forward. These are going to be continuing. There's also on land a lot of development, and this will continue. But then again, one has to remember that we're a country that currently used in 2010 about 22% of the oil of the world. We produce 11%. Of the proven reserves, we have about 2%. And so, in the short and midterm, as long as increased production is part of a comprehensive strategy going forward, we should do this. But we have to develop these resources responsibly. And the president made very clear, especially in deep water drilling, that you have to show that you can actually have some secondary containment. But there have been many leases that have been allowed since the Macondo spill.
Considering the fact, and we talked with an oil industry executive last week, considering the fact that one can never know what the next problem could be, how can offshore drilling ever be considered safe?
Well, it's like everything else in technology in the world. These accidents happen. We have to look very carefully when they happen, how to prevent the next one from happening, and up the safety record. So with Macondo, I was intimately involved in that for 3 or 4 months, and there were a lot of lessons that were learned from that. The Oil Commission made numerous recommendations on how to make oil recovery, exploration and recovery much safer. But I also should say that in every instance when there's technology involved, whether it's an automobile, an airplane, an oil rig, you name it, you learn from previous mistakes and you go forward and you make it much safer. And so I believe that we can make deep water drilling much safer than it has been in the past, and the administration is committed to doing that. That doesn't say that because of that terrible spill that we should stop exploration. I think we can just do it much safer. Just as when an airplane crashes, we don't say, okay, no more airplanes.